की कोई बात
I'm Pawas and welcome to my kitchen in Berlin. And today I'll be cooking some Indian food with my dear friend Sachin.
It's great to be in Pawas' kitchen. It's been 3 years since I met Pawas, and literally the first time we met, we were cooking.
And we haven't gained weight. I'm really happy about that fact.
Yeah, even with the quarantine, it's pretty good at this point. But one of the great things about knowing people through food is that there's a special bond that comes off the back of it. For us actually being in Berlin and not having access to actually really good Indian food has really forced us to be in the kitchen a lot and trying a lot of new things.
Today we'll be showing a simple dish which is a mix of North India and South India, so to say, like a melange of two different cultures, and a typical North Indian dish called chole or chana masala with a little South Indian twist, which is,
well, being from Kerala, it has to be the coconut.
Oh, the twisted coconut, I love it, yes. And the dish is basically North Indian, which is chana bhatura, chole bhature. Bhature is the fried bread, which is made with basic wheat flour, some yogurt, baking soda, salt and oil, deep fried of course, and we love deep fried food in India especially.
Well, who doesn't like deep fried food?
So, and your dish, chana masala with this coconut thing, is there anything, something special about it? Like, walk us through that a bit.
I mean, it's essentially what you would think of a chole, but the idea is that with the consistency and the texture you get with the coconut, it adds a little bit of the twisted twist, as you said, right? So, but it's a nice twisted twist because it's a little bit that the spiciness is coming through with everything we have with the mixture, but that sweetness of the coconut really adds something unique.
Man, I'm drooling right now. I'm getting really hungry with this food talk, and the bread's gonna be amazing. And we have done this before. It's not the first time we're doing it, and we ate a lot of it. So we thought it would be a good idea to show you guys how to make it at home. So we'll start with the bread, which is called the bhatura. It has different variations. It's also called puri, which is made then with the whole wheat flour. And today we'll be using a regular type 55 or whatever we get in the supermarket, that kind of flour, a white flour, which makes the bread more flaky and interesting and not too thick. The measurements I'm taking is 100 grams. Like I can take 200 grams since then we can have some more bhaturas. You can never have enough bhaturas. And to that, we'll add a pinch of salt and a pinch of baking soda. Usually they have baking soda and baking powder mixed in India, which makes it even more fluffy. But since I don't have the baking soda, I'm using the baking powder only with salt. Okay. And to this, we're going to add some yogurt, which is regular 3.8%, or you can also have a low-fat yogurt. It's up to you if you want to watch your weight, but it's all about fried food. So yeah, it's about 1.5 tablespoon of yogurt going in the dough, in the mix. And now comes the nasty part. You gotta get your hands dirty. That's very essential. You cannot do the mixer stuff. You gotta put your hands in there and start kneading. You gotta mix this gently. First, mix all the ingredients. And very important is the water. Water is lukewarm. Water is not cold. It's just to keep the dough nice and moist, because when you use the cold water, it just stiffens up basically. So, and now I think the yogurt is nicely mixed. You can add some water to it. Add it gently. And now it's up to you to see the consistency. If you have add too much water by mistake, you can add some flour. So just keep it balanced basically. And it'll stick to your hands. It looks annoying right now, but it's gonna be fine once it's fried. There you go. Now the dough is ready, and it'll be fried in about 30 minutes.
Okay, so now we're gonna actually roast the spices. So first up is getting the pan to a certain heat. It shouldn't be too warm, but probably like a medium temperature. So we're gonna just let it heat up for a second here. Move some of the spice in. So we're gonna start with the coriander seeds here. The cumin. the red chili, cinnamon, black cardamom, and the green cardamom. And we're gonna give it a little bit of a mix. And guys, remember, the thing is with this, it's gonna be dry roasting, so there's no oil at all involved here. What we're trying to do is just get the flavors out of the spices. And you know when it's ready for the coconut to go in, once we know the smells and the spices come through. So if I take a little bit of sniff here, it's coming through right now, so it's perfectly time to go. And we're gonna throw in the freshly grounded coconut. And give it a little bit of a mix. And yeah, we'll let it sit for a few, probably like a minute or two. It's warm enough anyways. The coconut's actually gonna start turning brown. That's really when you know it's done. We take all the ingredients, put it in the blender with probably 2 tablespoons of water, which should be plenty, but you can get a feel for it, and let it rip. And what you end up with is a paste that looks like this. If you look at the paste, it's a little bit on the grainy side. Its consistency is a bit thick. It has a great fragrance that comes through with the spices, and it's ready to go.
So Sachin, when are we cooking, man? I'm getting hungry.
Well, we're starting. So first up, we got some oil. It's about 4 tablespoons that we're gonna use. So we're gonna start with heating the oil a bit. Give it like a little bit of time. It's gonna be quite quick. Next up is a little bit of mustard seed. So we're gonna use a small little teaspoon.
Oh, nice. They're spluttering already. Wow.
Once they start essentially popping at this point, we go with some bay leaves. And next step is we get some asafoetida.
Just don't put the whole thing. Just don't put the whole thing.
We're gonna get a little bit, it's a small pinch. So just to give it a little bit of flavor. And what we have as well now is ginger garlic paste. It's been already mashed in, and we put a little bit of green chili inside as well.
Going to give all of it? Yeah. Go all, yeah.
Yeah, go for it. Next step is the onions.
Just going back to the hing bit, that yellow powder you put in there, that's basically what people might not know is a very commonly used spice in the kitchen, used mainly with dishes like chickpeas, lentils, kidney beans, to balances out the, how do I put it in the nice words, the gastric attack that you might get after eating certain grams. So, and this balances it out. It's basically like an anti-acid to all the grams. And you only have to use a pinch of it, not too much. Otherwise, it can be very overpowering and will take away all the flavor of the other spices.
So we slowly stir this a bit, just so that we can get the onions to kind of spread out a bit. And we're essentially browning the onions at this point.
I'm going to bring you the dry spices now.
Thank you,
the
Pawas.
powder spices, basically. So yeah, the onions have to be translucent, a little bit more cooked. And then you add the tomatoes, I guess, right?
Exactly.
Okay. This is always a misconception that you always need to add more oil to the food, but eventually the oil is just required to break down the spices and the onions and tomatoes, and the rest is made with the stock or the water, adding to the spices.
I think it looks pretty good right now, no?
Yeah, you can add the tomatoes.
Yeah, I think tomato time, yeah.
Oh, one important fact about this thing, you could have make a paste out of this mixer right now, but you shouldn't because we have already added the mustard seeds. Mm-hmm. Once you crush the mustard seeds, they become bitter. So never crush the mustard seeds in a paste. They'll just make it too bitter. Just a tip.
And it's very, very important that the heat's at a medium temperature, because then you don't want it to heat up too fast, because you want to keep that gravy consistency going.
Indian cooking is all about patience. We have to wait. We have to watch the food. It's meditative in a way. And it's not fast food that you cannot just say, well, if you are on a street food stall in India and they're already pre-making these things, which is already and they have this big walkway, they're frying the bhaturas, that's fast food. But to make it at home, it takes a lot of patience. You can make a bigger portion of these things and actually freeze it.
The tomatoes blended in with the onions at this point. Now this is the time to bring in the big guns, the paste. And we're gonna just pour it right in there.
So it's about maybe say 2 or 3 tablespoons of the paste with coconut. Exactly. Yeah, okay.
All right, so basically we've been doing this for about like 2 minutes roughly, and it's right time to add in a few more spices. We're gonna start with a little bit teaspoon of yellow gold, turmeric. We are gonna get a teaspoon of red chili powder. Kashmiri chili powder is the preferred way to go. And lastly here, we add in a small teaspoon of coriander as well. Okay, cool. So next up is the chickpeas. So this goes into the mixture.
And this is about a can, I guess, of the
This is roughly about a can of chickpeas at this point, yeah. And the texture is really nice right now. You can see it kind of just rolling in. So we just move it around a bit. Feel the consistency. If it feels a little bit on the raw side, you put it basically just stir it up a bit, put it back, lid back on top, and let it keep cooking. So shall I make you do the honors of the salt?
Okay, so should we just go carrying? Okay, yeah. Thank you for giving me the salt, so I can do with my own way of undersalting it. As I do. This is like a big pinch of salt. I'm gonna go with Sachin's taste, so 2 pinches of salt.
Okay, well appreciated. So we did a little stir action. Right now, we probably need another like 10 minutes, probably. Maximum, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna let this cook for the time being, and we're gonna go straight into making the bhatura.
Yeah. And now we will roll. We'll take maybe a table tennis size ball of the dough. Very important, you need oil for this, which is here. You don't use flour to roll the dough, you use the oil.
And how's the dough feeling right now?
It seems rested. Yeah. Unlike me, but yeah.
And how long did we leave it again? Like.
Well, I think it was a good half an hour.
It was, right?
So,
okay.
Yeah. And then we just a little trick. We just dip the dough in the oil. You spread the oil on the table. That way you just. Yep. So the oil is everywhere. It will not stick to the table. And then the rolling pin. And the rolling pin is, this is a very typical Indian rolling pin. Then you can use a regular rolling pin if you have at home. The one you use for noodles, for making spaghetti or something, or baking stuff, the baking pin. And start rolling. Size has to be small, obviously, otherwise it'll be too big for this pan or pot. So I'm going to try to make sure that it fits into this pot. And it'll be elastic, so you'll see it'll always retract. So you have to put some pressure on it and roll. Wow, the oil's getting really hot now, so it's okay.
I'm going to turn it on a little bit. Just so we don't.
I think we should not burn this thing as well. In some parts of India, they do it oblong. Some they do it a big round, like a football, like they call it in Germany, football bread.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it is a football bread because they're obsessed with football here. Make sure the corners are evenly flattened. Otherwise, you'll have a very uneven texture of the bread, which you don't want. So just put a little effort, make sure everything is even. And I think we're ready to go in the hot oil. So before you put the bread in the oil, make sure you have the right tools ready, the sieve, okay? And hold the bread with both your hands and gently drop it in the oil away from you. And gently push it down. Gently push it down. The oil is really hot, you can see it already got browned super fast. And turn it.
One turn in this case.
That's it. It was super hot. And there you go. We have a very nice, fluffy, crispy bhatura. That's it. The oil was really hot, so it took literally seconds for it to fluff up. And frying bread just makes me happy.
All right, so we have finally.
Yes, we made it. We made it, and it's amazing. Your chole looks epic. You did a little garnishing on that, I can see.
And your salt is already there, right? So good.
Yes. And the bhaturas are there, and I hope you guys enjoyed and learned how to make this. Not so complicated. It's very simple to make. Just needs a lot of practice, and you might not get right at the first time, but that's okay. So it'll take a few times to get it right.